Everybody can make a one-pager CV, but what is written in a CV should come out of from your mouth also. So that is more important than making CV. Like expressing your CV I think, is a better skill than making it.
Yeah, that's. Hello, hi, and welcome all. I am Pushkar Yashashvi from Growjunction and back with my new podcast session. In today's session, I'm very excited to welcome our new guest, which is Ankush Jain, who is currently working in BCG as a senior associate and has also worked for many companies like propertypistol.com and KPMG and many other companies. So, hi Ankush, did I miss anything or you want to add?
Hi Pushkar. No. It's you didn't miss anything. You're well prepared, I guess. Right? I mean, it's okay. You're not. Didn't miss anything. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
So
That's
nice to.
So, Ankush, can you please introduce yourself to our audience and viewers?
Right. Hi everyone. My name is Ankush, as Pushkar just told you. So I don't want to talk about anything. When I talk about myself, I don't want to talk about where did I graduate, where did I study, how was my career, and how was my life. That is okay. I mean, that is a part of my life. But generally, I love to travel. Like usually, I love adventure sports. So I like driving cars. So I can drive 2,000 kilometers, 3,000 kilometers at a stretch. Not 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 in one go, but definitely by my own. Right. I'm born and brought up in Delhi. Did schooling from there. Then like everyone else went to college, undergrad college. Did BCom honors from there. Then worked with KPMG for some time. Then went to IIM Ahmedabad. Did MBA from there. And post that, it's been a good work life thing. Working also, traveling also. So by the time I'm having this podcast, so I'm outside, I'm traveling only. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, that's really great because I can also relate myself to your hobby that driving cars. I also like to drive cars and do
Oh,
something
great.
uh, riding with cars and enjoying those cars. So yeah, that's a great thing.
Great.
So Ankush, as you have done your MBA from top college, that is IIM Ahmedabad, and there is no competition in that college. So like, how was the life in IIM Ahmedabad and how was everything back there?
Yeah, at IIM Ahmedabad life. This is a very good question. I can then just go back to my college days and think how the life was there. So I mean, I come from a commerce background. So life at IIM Ahmedabad for me was initially tough also in terms of the stress management, in terms of the type of culture I experienced. So yeah, it works right if I mix Hindi and English both, right?
Okay.
Yeah, Pushkar, I'm saying it's okay if I mix English and Hindi. No, your audience is fine with both.
Yeah, Ankush. Please continue.
Right. So I come from Delhi University, and if like everyone who has gone to Delhi University, they know how many hours do you study usually. So to me, going from Delhi University to a place where most of them were IITians, it was a different experience, definitely. Staying at hostel also was one of the different experience because I was a day scholar when I was in undergrad, right? So you will see in a batch of like 400 students and in a class of 100 students, right? You will see people from every sphere, and all of them are better than you, if not less, right? Or maybe you don't feel that wow, I've conquered something. To be very honest, by the time I took CAT, so okay, good, you got a good percentile, you got a good interview experience, and you go into Ahmedabad. Then at some time your friends, your family suddenly start looking at you from different lens, right? So that fame, let's say short-lived fame is okay, but the moment you enter the college, you realize that, buddy, you have done nothing. Right? There are so many people with so much of experience, so much of learning. So first year is usually very hectic. I mean, the classes are scheduled in a way that 60-70% of your course is done in your first year. So first year is very hectic because you have to have your internships, your placements, and everything is there. But as and when you start, living that routine, you get into the habit, I would say. And then the second year is pretty much less focused on academics and more into. So I went to a dual degree program. So usually people are comparatively less occupied in the second year.
All right, that's great. So I would say that
Yeah.
you enjoyed your IIM-A life, elite college life.
I mean, yeah, it's been 2 years now, right? So I really enjoyed it. But by the time I was there in the college, so there are a lot of insecurities or a lot of apprehensions you do. Pata nahi you'll get a job or not. Pata nahi how will you do. So a lot of things work simultaneously, right? I mean, you have your friends with you. That's a very good part which I experienced. I made a lot of friends there and some very close bonding
Wow.
with the people there, right? So, but on the other hand, you also you have spent some money there. No, you usually take a loan, right? You give your fee, and then you're not sure what sort of job will you get. So that part is also there. I mean, it's a mix of both. I mean, in a single, like in a span of 3 days, you have to get placed, and which is around what 430 students getting placed in 3 days, right? So that stress levels I've never experienced before, and at the hindsight now I say that it was fun, but us time pe, at that point of time, I mean, it was way hectic and things were very different. I mean, I was nervous also, I was happy also, so mixed experience.
Yeah, that's true. It was like getting so much in place, and
Sure,
and
sure.
so standing out of the crowd, because everyone is in the crowd. So many companies think that everyone is of the same profile. Nobody has did something different.
Right,
You have to
right,
work
right.
on your CV also for that. So yeah, it's true that it was really very hectic. So Ankush, as you're working as a senior associate in BCG, so what are your roles and responsibilities?
At BCG, so senior level is when you do MBA, post MBA, senior associate is an entry level job at BCG. So if you're an undergrad, it is an associate. If you're an MBA, it's senior associate, right? So BCG is a management consulting firm, right? So we have different clients in different domains. Different clients have different problem statements of the business. Somebody would want to enter into a market. Somebody would want to understand why their profits are declining, right? Somebody would want to know how can the client save the cost on a certain, let's say, product or a factory or something. So different teams, there are different sectors. Like one is financial services, one is consumer goods and services. So there are different partners and heads of these different domains, and within those domains there are different clients. So there's a project lead on different client, and a project lead has a team of roughly 3 to 4 people who visit that client for an agreed period of time, let's say from 3 months to even a 1 year project, and they try to solve for what they get paid for. Yeah.
Right. So that's great. So like you are enjoying your roles and responsibilities, right? That currently you're working in.
Yes, I mean, it's a great company. It's a very good exposure. I'm enjoying the thrill which it gives in terms of the hectic lifestyle. I mean, we have been scheduling this interview for a long now, but on Saturday we have like fortunately found time to talk, right? So I'm enjoying this thrill which it gives in terms of the number of hours you slog, or the, let's say, not compare it to with the number of hours. Let's say the exposure you get. I mean, in a span of 1 year, you uh, virtually talk to at least three consulting firms, sorry, three clients in different domains, right? So you get to learn a lot, and which is in this early career stage, I think it's very helpful. I'm enjoying it or not, it's very subjective. At times the client is very hectic, so you don't enjoy it, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But if I have to think it on a weekend, sitting and thinking whether did I enjoy my week or not, I did enjoy it. But on a Monday morning, I don't enjoy it. I will be very honest with this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You might come to know after some time that whether you are enjoying or not enjoying
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So, yeah,
No,
that's
first of every month is very enjoyable, right? So usually last month of the previous month or the first day of your next month, you get your paychecks, right?
yeah.
So then you enjoy for some time, then you realize, okay, paychecks are about to end, and you work for it. I mean, this is a circle, right? It goes on.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah,
great. You
yeah,
told rightly, as you told about the first month of working and that thrill and that excitement of working in top firm.
yeah.
So yeah, it happens only for first 2 months, and after that you get accustomed to it. Yeah.
Yeah, then you think for growth and everything. I mean, there's a lot of gyan I can tell, but yeah, I'm enjoying it overall.
That's true, lot of gyan. So, Ankush,
Uh,
just to let you know that we have our audience also as MBA aspirants, those who are going to
sure,
pursue their MBA. So, as you
sure.
have did your MBA in one of the top colleges, IIM-Ahmedabad.
Mm.
So, yeah, how would you tell other aspirants, to crack MBA, and what resources you would tell them?
See, I mean, everybody has their own strategy. Let me be like, I don't want to be, diplomatic or say I speak in a very neutral grounds. First of all, I have just taken CAT once, right?
Oh,
So for me, no, it's not that I'm flaunting that. I'm saying I have taken CAT at a very limited time. So I can probably tell something that worked for me. I cannot tell something that worked for everybody, right? So for a teacher who's a CAT teacher, right? He takes CAT every year. So they know it the best way how things work for them. But one thing which I've realized is, let's say, I'll I can tell you about my preparation cycle and how what sort of emotions and things that I went through. Maybe that should be helpful. I cannot give any tips. There's no magic tips for anything. And I mean, I don't even I asked for people like, yaar, kuch tips de do, cat hai, ye hai, wo hai. So that is very natural, reaction to any cat aspirant. But at the end of the day, you have to find your own slot. So I had a coaching center. I mean, let me just do some advertisement for them. I joined Career Launcher, right? So my teachers there were fantastic. They guided me like brilliantly in terms of personal support, in terms of doubt sessions, in terms of mocks. So mocks is something I think is the best way to analyze yourself. So I started my journey in the month of January, February, right? So initially it was very overwhelming to prepare for CAT. आज तो मैं LIDI फोड़ दूंगा, आज तो मैं CAT कर दूंगा, right? This is the thought process initially I used to have. Then in the month of, what do you say, May, June, you tend to slow down. Usually you think that, okay, यार वही books हैं, वही syllabus है, right? कितने करोगे? But then probably was the time when my teacher helped me out. He was very honest and brutal in terms of showing the mirror. And then from June you again start picking up. So it's a curve only. Somebody would pick up, somebody will not pick up, right? So that is the time. I mean, there's a guidance is very important. So making schedule is one of them. Taking mocks is one of them. To know what not to attempt is one of them. Everybody knows what to attempt, but if somebody is aware about what not to attempt, so things become easier. I mean, you have to get 60% of your questions right? So that is all. I mean, there's no funda book I'm having to tell to any CAT aspirant. But yeah, I've had juniors and mentees which usually I talk to. The only thing I talk to them about is be clear in your head. Like, you should not it's a very popular saying. You should be aware where your ship is sailing. You should not expect something. Let's see, at my mocks, suppose you are getting 80 percentile, that you should not expect that I'll get 95 percentile in your normal CAT exam. That happens, but in most of the cases, you would expect a normal curve. I mean, I've seen people who got 80 percentile in your uh, mock test, but in CAT, apparently the mind clicked and they scored 95, 99 as well. But you should be aware about what your capabilities are, and then plan towards that. Sorry, I use the word capabilities, what your performance is, and then plan towards that. That's it.
That's true. That's true. Because, and the right point you said, every person has their own strategy. Like somebody are good
Right,
in,
right.
LRDI. So they are mainly focused in LRDI, and as you said the word LRDI for So
it,
yeah, many people think that if I am able to crack
yeah.
this, then I will be surely able to crack
So,
others.
so I'll give you an example. When I talked about everybody should know their capabilities, I used the word, right? So personally, I was not good in quant. I'm still not, right? So one thing which my teacher like suggested me to, it's like quant. Just drink that subject. You do quant 5 hours a day if you don't like it. So usually, if I don't like quant, I would start, refraining from doing quant. I will do verbal more than quant, thinking that कि verbal strong कर लेता हूँ, quant तो वैसे भी नहीं आती. But going forward, so it's like going forward, spend more time with that subject, with a particular area of which you are scared of, and there would be a time, if not in the first mock, if not in the 10th mock, definitely in the 15th mock, you'll realize that you have made some progress. So if you can convert your 70s in quant into 85s and 90s, and in English you can, or in verbal or LRD, you can get 95, 99. So you are at a settled place. So that is something which I thought you should plan out what is your weaknesses are. My weakness is quant and was quant and will be quant, right? So that is what I was talking about.
Yeah. That's great. That's a great point you told, and I guess many MBA aspirants would keep that thing in mind and prepare for their MBA exams. So that was a great advice. So
Right.
Ankush, as you have worked for KPMG, so what role you were working as, and how many years have you spent?
So at KPMG, I was working as a risk analyst. So I was working in the risk consulting domain at KPMG. That was my first job out of my undergrad campus. Right. At KPMG, I worked for more than around 15 or like 20 months maybe. Like, it's been long, yeah. I mean, I feel too old saying this. So it's been like 5 years now, 6 years. Shit. Right. So it's back in 2015, I joined KPMG. It's 7 years now. So worked there for close to 2 years. Right. Then it also involved travel. I mean, it wasn't management consulting, but it was risk consulting. Right. So we had different clients similarly as we have today from different domains. But the problem statement we have at that point of time was to mitigate the company's risk, which the companies might have faced in the last 2 years, 1 year, or whatever. At management consulting, we solve a business problem. At that, in KPMG, we did not solve a business problem. We suggested ways how you can mitigate your business risk. So good profile. I mean, that was the very first job. So as I told you, right, I like traveling. So my job made me travel a lot. So that was something which I like really enjoyed. Being I mean, younger than I am today, right? So back in 2015, what I was in my early 20s, right? So very good experience. I mean, that is the foundation, I would say, that gives you professionalism. College mein to, matlab, you eat, sleep, drink, whatever you do, but you never know, right? You are not sure what is happening with you. But that was the first job that gave me some professionalism. I saw some seniors around me, how they work, where are they. I got to know about कि MBA करने से थोड़ा फायदा होता है, right? So that was the phase which I spent at KPMG, and that remains my the foundation phase of my career.
All right, that's great. That's great. So you got a great learning from working in KPMG, and
yeah, I mean, it was hectic. KPMG is always hectic, but yeah, for some years of your life you can take hectic. It's okay.
Yeah, that's great. So Ankush, how far till now, how has your journey been? If you want to describe, how has your journey been till now?
Yeah, journey professionally, it's been a roller coaster. Always, everybody, it's first have been a roller coaster. I always say there are only 5%, or maybe less than that, whose journey is very smooth. Right? Everybody's journey is a roller coaster. At times you feel high in your life, like you've achieved something. At times you feel low, shit, yari, I could not achieve this thing. So it's been a mix of high and lows. But the progression has been a straight line towards a better experience. So it has been a rich of experience. I mean, a very well traveled journey. I would say it's actually a journey. I traveled a lot, so it was a journey only. Right. So yeah, I mean, it's been good. I mean, the experience part has been very good,
All right, that's great. So,
but
I,
simultaneously it has had its lows as well. So yeah, but it's been great.
that's great that you have been a great journey. And as you like to tell about the traveling, so you might have traveled to lot while companies to companies and giving interviews and all.
Yeah, I mean, that is what you do if you don't have a business of your own, right? You
Yeah.
will give interviews, right? So so it's good. Yeah, I mean, you give interviews, at times you sit with clients, you talk with them, you spend some time in office, at times you spend time outside office in terms of dinners and all, right? So yeah, I mean, it's very so one thing which excited me a lot at KPMG was at the age of 22, right? I could talk to, let's say, one of the plant head at some company, right? So talking to these very senior people at the age of 21, 22 was very overwhelming for me, and that was the time where you learn professionalism. You just cannot talk to them in a very loose way. And coming from Delhi University, and specifically from Delhi, we are still in the habit of talking in loose ways, which once you join your first job you realize that okay, yaar, like now things are real. It's no more uh, no more chalta hai yaar, kuch bhi yaar kar lenge yaar, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really true that you told about the age factor that at 20
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you met you talked to a plant head and yeah because I would say it's an
So
achievement itself.
yeah, I mean, this is an experience. I won't say it's an achievement, it's an experience.
Yeah.
So I think experience matters the most in whatever you do. So obviously your paychecks also matter, but experience has something which the exposure and experience is something which I've always like thrived for, and hopefully this will continue.
That's great. That was really nice. So, at Ankush, as you have worked for many organizations and currently also working in a very top firm organization, so like what all learnings have you got in your past, working in those organizations? So, what all learnings have you got from that?
There, the moment you said learning, no, there's only one word that came to my mind: respect your deadlines. Like this is the thing I was told, I was taught at not told, I was taught at I am in the word that if you don't respect your deadlines, then get lost. So this is something our classrooms used to get locked. I mean, they didn't allow us to enter into the classes even if we're late by 1 minute. So if an assignment date is, let's say, 3rd of April or 7th 10th of April, right? So at 11:59 seconds, 23.59.59, the portal would close. Like you cannot submit your assignment, and if you are not able to submit your assignment, the professor won't take it, so you will eventually lose it, right? So many things like that. I mean, these deadlines thing is something which is very, very, very like a learning curve for me, and this is very helpful in the office as well, right? So one learning I've learned, probably have taken it from let's say this 5-7 years of experience, is respecting the time which you take from others also. So the moment last week, I said that we cannot have an interview, or sorry, we cannot have a podcast, right? So one thing that was thing is, man, shit, yaar, I wasted your time, right? So these time wala part is very important. If you are blocking somebody else's time, you should respect his time or her time. So one, respecting timelines and respecting time of others is something which I've somewhat learned, but still there's a lot of scope. So yeah.
Yeah, as you told about the respecting time, I just came out with a quote that I just saw or heard it somewhere that you should respect other people's time if you want your time to be respected. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think this would
I
suit.
mean, yeah, right. I mean, you should respect whether he's a junior or senior. Doesn't matter. I mean, the
Yeah.
time is time, right? So that is something which is yet to be mastered. I mean, nobody can master this. I think maybe somebody can, but this is something which I would want to you know keep building on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So,
Yeah.
like, it was really great that you told about the learnings and the point that you mentioned about that deadlines. Because I think it's a stereotype in the corporate culture that if you don't submit your assignment task, so I think you will be in the warning period or you will be getting a
Yeah, I
warning from a
mean,
company.
you know, just to share one experience, when I was in college, no, in my undergrad. So I was of an opinion कि यार क्या time वाइम करते रहते हो 15 मिनट लेट पहुंच गए तो क्या हो जाएगा. What would it happen if my assignment is submitted 15 minutes later after the deadline? And I was too very adamant on that. Okay, every everything is like this is just a sham, yaar. Everything is about deadlines. World doesn't work this way. But the moment you enter into your job, you try to speak to partners of the company, CEOs of the company. You start realizing the value of time you get from them. A CEO of a company would hardly give you 5 minutes, right? And in that 5 minutes, you have to talk to him. Maybe your boss will give you 1 hour in a day, right? So in that 1 hour, you have to complete your whatever task you have in your mind, whatever you things you want to discuss with him. So then managing time, then you don't have any option to respect your boss's time, right? You have to respect it. You have to respect your manager's time. You don't have any option. So the moment you start respecting your manager's time, you will realize that when you respect your junior's time also, that's very important.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, that is all. I mean, nothing else.
Yeah, that's true about talking about the importance of the time. That if you don't submit or if you don't value the time, then yeah, time is gone. Then it's gone. It never comes back.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of proverbs and a lot of sayings on time, but the bottom line is time is important.
Time is important, actually. I
Yeah,
agree.
and and
So
this time coaching center is also important for cat aspirants. I mean, it's a very good coaching center. So time is really important in this podcast.
yeah, yes, that's really true. So
Yeah.
I just want to ask you that there are many MBA students also watching this session. So like
Hmm.
in your MBA time, so what you have done in your CV and how impactful you created your CV.
Yeah, personally, I'm a very unplanned guy. Matlab, I never thought that I'll do MBA, first of all. Right. So post my graduation, I just wanted to get a break from studies. Like I just didn't want to study. I could have easily taken CAT and then probably entered into some other college or maybe it's the same college. But my plan was not to study anymore. Just take a gap of 2 years and then think about life. So I had no idea about MBA when I just graduated. I wanted to work and KPMG happened fortunately. Then there I saw people who are MBA, they are my senior. Right. I saw my seniors, they were MBA. I thought I should also do MBA. One day I will also become a senior. So ideally, these things kept on happening on based on my previous experiences. So when I entered IIM Ahmedabad, I mean, there were a lot of emotions, there were a lot of thoughts. I want to be there. So, so the CV thought was never. I mean, this is a bad example for your audience. I'm sorry to say, but this CV term never excited me in the MBA college also. Like what I've done has done. I mean, there's a very popular saying in MBA. I mean, you 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 wash your sins before you do MBA, and then you do MBA and you get into a new life. This is what people say, right? So it's okay. You entered into college, and then I realized, okay, there are a lot of jobs. Initially, I wanted to enter into marketing very badly. Like my internship was also into marketing, so I thought marketing सही है यार बढ़िया है मतलब marketing strategy बनाओ मजा आएगा, right? So things turn the other way, right? But this is also a good life. So CV तो मेरा marketing के हिसाब से बना था लेकिन selection consulting में हो गया. So these things doesn't matter. It matters if जो तुम कर रहे हो whatever you're doing, you again the bottom line answer there was to make the right use of your time. right? So do things like with full commitment. This is what I would want to say. CV तो खुद बन जाएगा यार 2 साल में, मतलब it's a very short period है. 2 years of MBA is a very short period. You won't even realize when MBA gets over. Like I personally don't remember my first term. It was so hectic. I don't remember anything about it. So CV बन जाता है अपने आप. Like CV का कुछ नहीं. CV is you should do extra currics भी करो, पढ़ाई भी करो थोड़ी बहुत, अपने आप कुछ भी लिख दो. मतलब not saying that CV में कुछ भी लिखना चाहिए, but whatever you do, CV बन जाता है. Like everybody can make a one-pager CV, but what is written in a CV should come out of from your mouth also. So that is more important than making CV. Like expressing your CV is, I think, is a better skill than making it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. As you told correctly that, whatever you're doing, just keep doing and your CV will get prepared. It's said whatever you are adding and whatever you are doing. So you need not worry about the CV. Many companies are
there lot of words which our seniors used to give us. I practiced, I performed, I managed, I spearheaded. So all these verbs look good on your CV, right? You can easily make your CV. Go to Google, enter how to make a good CV. You will get hundreds of ideas. But my idea is my point of view in this interaction would be to write something which you can protect, which you can defend. I can write I worked like with Prime Minister of India. Nobody can, verify that. But if somebody asks me questions, how would you have worked? क्या काम किया था? Explain करो. I would definitely stutter. I actually stuttered while talking about this, right? So if I say I worked at BCG, I work at KPMG, I would have my experience to tell you what did I do. I don't have to make up that experience. So that is all, yeah. I mean.
Yeah. That was really great and a very insightful thing about you told about the CV and the highlighting point of I worked with the Prime Minister of India. Then how can someone verify that you have worked with the Prime Minister? Yeah,
I mean, nobody will ask you for photographs or like certificate. I mean, you'll make your way. If you want to write it in a CV, you will make your way that मेरे college में Prime Minister आए थे and I organized that. Nobody can ever question you down the line 5 years of your career that you did not do it. I'm saying this on a public forum, but I don't shy away from saying this. Nobody can question that you have done a certain co-curricular activity or you organize some event. Everybody is a head boy of a school year. How can this be possible? Right? So it's about the interview or it's about the company, how you figure out whether it's 100% truth or it's 80% truth or how things work.
Yes. That's true. That's really truly said. Ankush, as I came to know that you have done your student exchange program by pursuing the MBA also. So there are
right.
many of the students that they think twice before going to the student exchange program. Would that be benefiting or would that be adding a value in that? So what would you like to say to that or anything you have in your mind to say?
यार मतलब मेरे लिए सिंपल सा लॉजिक था. I am getting to stay in Europe for 6 months, buy a scholarship. I would travel, I would meet people, I would gain some experience. That is enough for me. So I won't be a wrong person again to say how it is beneficial. For me, it was not beneficial career-wise in terms of I did not get placed, like I didn't get the best. I could not have got the best package at IIM Ahmedabad even when I was in the college. Right. So my agenda here was not to think whether exchange will help me or not. My agenda was यार scholarship मिल रही है और hostel सस्ते होते हैं वहाँ पे बहुत, ठीक है, और आपको college पैसे दे रहा है पढ़ने के लिए, तो this is the best thing to do. Like पढ़ने के पैसे मिल रहे हैं यार, और क्या चाहिए. तो so this is the I'm being very honest. This was the first logic that came to my head. यार I should go for an exchange. And second logic was ठीक है यार एक और degree मिल जाएगी. बस that's it.
Yeah, that's
beneficial है नहीं है, like nobody can answer it at that point of time.
And you said in such a relaxed manner, that I'm getting to travel a lot and college is paying me for that and 6 months. So yeah.
I mean, beneficial or not, I mean, I did ask people how would it help, right? I did ask people who went for exchange last year. So if you talk to 10 people, 6 would say beneficial hai, 4 will say not nahi beneficial hai. What will you do? So you have to figure out 2-3 people to whom you can talk and just believe and go. Just I mean, Nike says no, just do it. So the result will be there. हो जाएगा कुछ ना कुछ तो. Nobody is gonna like starve. ऐसा कुछ होने नहीं वाला. सब ना कुछ तो कर ही लेंगे. जाकिर खान बोलता है ना कुछ ना कुछ तो कर ही लेंगे. जाकिर खान का काफी फेमस डायलॉग है.
Yes, जाकिर खान.
तो हो right. To me it was not no academic relation in terms of going for exchange. Mine was purely based on foreign experience. That's it.
Yes, that was really true. But it was really great, Ankush, that you told about the student exchange program. And I guess the students, those who are watching, MBA students, they might be not thinking so much, because if you talk to 10 people, okay, so there are 10 people, they will be giving you 10 advice that if you go to this, so you will be learning this and that, and if you go to that place, then you will be not enjoying that much as you will. Yeah, so difference of opinions.
I mean, we as people talk based on our own experience. So like if you go to a hotel, you don't like the experience, you tell them hotel bekar tha. If somebody else goes to that hotel and they fortunately it's a good experience, or maybe they get a normal experience, or maybe to their expectation the experience was okay, so they would say कि hotel बहुत अच्छा था, दे दो rating उसको 4.2 4.1, ठीक है, मतलब it won't affect. Somebody will give it 5, somebody will give it 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect. It truly said that. It matters on people to people. You can't change the perception of their.
No, it depends on what you want to do. Like I have friends who did not go to the exchange program. They had a logic behind it. They said, "Yeah, I just want to make my CV here. I want to take part in some competition maybe, which is a good idea. I mean, if you want to do that, that's a very good idea. But just don't like. For me, the thing was, कि exchange पे जा रहा हूँ, I'm not doing anything bad. I'm getting a degree from a different university. That's it. For that matter, I'm getting an additional degree from a different university, right? So any interviewer will talk to me, I can say that boss, मैं पढ़कर आया हूँ यार. मतलब it's how you portray, how you present, right?
Yeah.
So, I could not enter into competition. I was not part of D2C, जो Dare to Compete का आता है तुम्हारा वो Dare to Compete वाले competition कराते हैं. Reliance, Mahindra, Reliance, Tata का competition. I could not take part in that, but that was not my priority. I knew it कि अगर package average package से average package भी लगेगा तो ठीक है, 2 साल में कुछ कर लेंगे. मतलब तो this is my personal choice. I mean, you should not think कि average भी लगेगा. You should always try for the best. But when I was in college, I thought कि average package भी college का ठीक है यार, इतना भी बेकार नहीं है. तो अगर average भी लगता है तो भी हम 2-3 साल में पहुंच जाएंगे कहीं ना कहीं. तो ये was the thought process था. That's why I opted for exchange. So, and it did not harm me. I mean, fortunately, it was as good as had I been in college. So
that's a great. At least you got lifestyle of Europe, how the people of Europe live, and the student exchange program experience. So, yeah.
I mean, it is great.
That's great.
I traveled close to 15 countries there. So, and that 80% was funded by the college, right? So that part I could have never experienced post MBA. I would always have to pay for it, right? So उसको पैकेज में ऐड कर लो, मतलब क्या है?
Yes,
that is
true. That is very great. So coming to the last part of the session, I would like to thank our guest, Ankush Jain. Thank you so much, Ankush. Thank you so much for for this podcast session and sharing your experiences and your learnings. It was really great. Anything you want to say at the end, or anything you have in your mind?
I've gotten enough time. I've spoken a lot. Nothing else, sir. I mean, I would want to, if somebody wants to take some hashtag advice from me, I mean, when to talk, I'm open to talk in terms of only in the professional way, right? So wants to talk in terms of कैसे करना चाहिए, mock नहीं हो रहे, want to make some strategy or not. because personally I am mentoring people around, right? So not advertising for myself, but in general I'm talking. If your audience wants to talk generally, they don't, in life they think that MBA nahi hoga. So I'm pretty sure I'll be able to make them believe कि MBA तो हो जाए. Nothing और कुछ तो शायद नहीं कर पाऊंगा. I'm not a psychologist here, but somebody feels that MBA नहीं हो रहा है, नहीं हो पाएगा, I'm happy to talk. So maybe they can write it to you and then you can write it to me, maybe whatever.
Wow, that was really
Right?
great
I can give my mail ID. So you can post it on your YouTube comments, maybe, right? You have my mail ID, no? So unfortunately, I cannot give my mobile number. Sorry, but I can give my mail ID, and you can write it on your comment section. And definitely, if anybody wants some help, and I think I can help them, so why not?
Yeah, that's really great of you. You know that many aspirants would want like a mentors like you that motivate them and guide them to the right path. That was really great. So,
Right, yeah, you always need a mentor. I had very good mentors in my journey, so
that's great. So at last, I would like to say to our audience that do subscribe to our channel as we will be coming with more podcasts.
yes.
Yeah.
Please,
So,
karo. अच्छे से
special
करो.
thank you to Ankush also for coming from a busy schedule and scheduling having this podcast session with us. Thank you so much, Ankush.
Pushkar, it was a pleasure interacting with you and the future audience which will be going through this podcast. So it was great talking here.